And that has led to all of this. I'll be waiting.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny. I do unscripted honest reviews here, and today we'll be reviewing Longlegs. This movie has been hyped up by literally everyone I know. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone on Twitter, everyone on social media was just talking about how batshit crazy this movie is. How it's so terrifying that it's gonna come kill me almost. They were putting it everywhere. I see it everywhere. I see posters everywhere. I see their brilliant marketing everywhere. I have to admit, Neon did a great job trying to market this movie into social media, and it reminds me of the old days. It reminds me of how the Blair Witch was marketed. Yeah, so this kind of builds up a really existential, like a good amount of hype towards it. And when this happens, usually the movie always disappoints me almost, because the hype has been too much for anyone to see. You kind of have automatically raised these expectations for these kinds of movies, but I'm very happy to say that Longlegs is not the case. Longlegs was terrifying. It was unsettling. It was terrifying, and it was scary in the way that I didn't know that could make me feel like that. I didn't know that I could be this terrified of a movie, and I was definitely very scared. After the credits rolled and the movie ended, I really couldn't speak for a minute. The last 15 minutes really got to me, and I have never experienced this out of body experience before. This movie was really terrifying for me, and it's not gonna be the way that I got scared of other kinds of movie where there's like a bunch of jump scares and I'm terrified for another loud noise. But this worked for me, and I do not know if other people are saying the same, but this movie definitely worked for me. And maybe it's because I was watching it in the cinemas with a full crowd. Actually, by the way, this movie was sold out in my area. They made more show times. I think they upgraded to like 10 in total for per day, and most of it were sold out. It was kind of hard for people to get tickets. So and people beside me and people around me were reacting to the same. They actually thought it was scary as fuck, and I was really shaking after the movies. I couldn't, like, the last 15 minutes really got to me, and this was an effective horror. This is how you make psychological elevated kind of horror. I hate to use that word, but these kinds of slow burn ish kind of horror. And I really liked it. I didn't know if other people felt the same, but I really liked this one. We follow an Agent Lee Harker trying to uncover this serial killer named Longlegs, which leaves her cryptic messages for her to see, and she's the only one that could decode it. And she has these instincts that tells you where things might be and where the serial killer might be, and the rest is the story. So I'm not gonna spoil anything here, by the way. So the way that they marketed this movie was they try to hide Nicolas Cage as much as possible in all the trailers, all the teasers. They try to make fake phone numbers that you can call to, and then he will leave you a message. He will sing you happy birthday. And all we know going into this movie is Nicolas Cage is in it, and he is Longlegs. He is the serial killer. Um, we haven't seen him in any of the trailers. He was just showing cryptically, and people were kind of hyping up to his appearance and how he is gonna terrify us all, how he's gonna haunt our dreams, like that kind of stuff. But actually, controversial opinion, I did not find Nicolas Cage that scary at first. When he first showed up, when he first showed his face, I was like, oh, it's just a guy in a white makeup, you know. Like I'm like, okay, like you know, it doesn't seem that terrifying. But what ends up happening was this sinister character, um, as the plot goes on, keeps building up and to be more and more terrifying. Every single action that he does, slowly becomes terrifying. It's almost as if like a creepy pasta, like something that you shouldn't see, that you accidentally stumble upon when you were 10 years old. He looks like straight out of a creepy pasta almost, and um of course, if you see a screenshot of the movie, you probably wouldn't get it, in my opinion. I mean, I didn't get it when I first saw him, but in the plot and in the movie, it worked because of what ends up happening. And it was it really got me. It was really effective and making me scared. And by the end of the movie, I was like, I did not want to see him on screen again. He was not in the movie for very long, but his presence was felt all throughout the scenes. Every single scenes, because of the wide shots, um, there were so many empty spaces between all the characters as they go on, and your eyes just keeps wandering around. If he's gonna show up in the corner of the screen, if he is gonna show up behind her in the kitchen when she was at her house, like you kind of start to imagine these, and it really got to it because of how effective and how dread filled atmosphere this film was. um and I really like that. I really like how they did well with this character. And I mean, this is just Nicolas Cage having a fun time. At the end of the day, he does these kinds of characters as we know from his previous movies, but um this time around it kind of got to me. And yes, I have to admit some scenes kind of come off as funny almost, but by the end of the movie, I definitely got afraid of him. And whenever I see posters and some screenshots of him online, and I just cannot handle it anymore. I just find it really terrifying, and I just find that really unsettling. I cannot do that anymore. And on that note, of Nicolas Cage clownery in the movie, it was funny at times, unexpectedly. I do not know how it could happen, but there's some sprinkles in there, like these comedic moments. Like I was like, oh, I was a little confused, but weirdly it worked for me. Like I didn't mind those at all. Maybe because there's like too few of them, but it didn't break the tension for me. It was more like a little commercial break to me almost, but not in a harmful way, but in a like, oh, you guys can take a breather a little bit. Like it was kind of that for me, because like, if you're tensed up most of the time, um you know, slowly by slowly, if you are not getting this end result, then like, you know, you might get a little bored of it almost. You might get like, oh, it's never coming, you know. It weirdly worked for me. I really like those sprinkle moments, especially the one in the asylum. I bursted out of love. I was like, yeah. um but yeah, so that's another pointer. And I would like to dive into a little bit more about the director Osgood Perkins and his work. So I have seen two of his movies, and they are Gretel and Hansel. Okay, Hansel and Gretel. Oh, I didn't know whatever that film was. I think they switched it a little bit. It's I think it's Gretel and Hansel and the Black Coat's Daughter. Gretel and Hansel. Cinematography was great. I love all the aesthetics things going on. I love like a little folk, like horror kind of almost. It's almost like a tormented fairy tale almost, and I like that one. And another thing that I liked about the Black Clothes Daughters was, of course, the performance. I think the casting was great to cast them both. No spoilers here, but um, I thought that was effective as well, especially the ending. But of course, I wasn't really impressed by him. Or as much as this Longlegs film. This felt more like um the previous films were more like art project almost. It felt like something like of a passion project almost. And not that it's a bad thing, but like it wouldn't resonate with everyone. These kinds of movies. But for Longlegs, it's more of um it has this personality to it, unique personality to it, but at the same time it felt digestible. It felt digestible for the mainstream audience and general audience, and at the same time it was true to its nature of this elevated slow burn A24 neon kind of horror movie to it, and I really dig that. I thought that was great. Another thing that I want to talk about is Michael Monroe. Michael Monroe in this film, is gonna be a little controversial to some because she was giving this performance of a person that always sits at the end of the class, all the way to the back, and she always gives off this weird, awkward, don't say much, quiet kind of character, and for the plot of the movie, I thought it has to be this way because no spoilers, but for what actually ends up happening, I think it worked. I do not mind Michael Momoa's performance. Of course, I've seen her in The Watcher and It Follows before, and I thought she was really great in these. But this one, it felt like it felt unsettling to me. It felt like she wasn't doing the things that she should, and she was doing it, behaving things a little differently, and it adds to this sinister vibes to it, for me. Um, it felt like something was off whenever she talks, whenever she walks, whenever she does a little bit at all. Like it felt like it was off, and I liked it in a certain way. It matched the vibe of the film, and I really dig that. So I really like that. But overall, this movie was something that I've been craving for in the horror industry, and it's something to scare me at the same time, something that I can think about, something that will stick with me. And I haven't had this feeling since like a long time ago, almost. Um, and I mean, Pearl kind of did that to me, but I wasn't really scared. But this scared me. This got me, and this will be in my top 10 horror movies. I'm it's getting number one right now, and I don't know if anything can dethrone it. And it's gonna go to my scariest movies of all time list of things. It might not be number one, but it's definitely going in there. I give this film a 9 out of 10. I really want to see more of this director's work, and I'm really hyped up for anything these casting crews, this crew and this director did. So all right, so that's gonna be it for my review today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.